Stephen King's Misery is a chilling psychological horror novel that explores obsession, captivity, and the terrifying power of fandom. It is widely regarded as one of King's most intense and claustrophobic works, praised for its relentless suspense and unforgettable villain. The novel begins with Paul Sheldon, a best-selling novelist known for his historical romance series featuring heroine Misery Chastain. After finishing a new manuscript that kills off Misery to pursue more serious writing, Paul drives through Colorado during a snowstorm. His car crashes, leaving him gravely injured. Paul is rescued by Annie Wilkes, a former nurse who lives in isolation. At first, Annie seems like a savior. She tends to Paul's injuries and provides shelter. But her demeanor quickly shifts from nurturing to menacing. Annie reveals herself as Paul's #1 fan, obsessed with his Misery novels. When she discovers that Paul has killed off Misery in his latest book, she becomes enraged. The middle arc intensifies as Annie holds Paul captive, forcing him to rewrite the novel to bring Misery back to life. Paul, bedridden and dependent on Annie for survival, endures horrific abuse. Annie's mood swings between tenderness and violent rage create constant tension. She mutilates Paul to ensure he cannot escape, famously breaking his legs in one of the novel's most harrowing scenes. Supporting elements deepen the horror. Annie's isolation and mental instability make escape nearly impossible. Paul's typewriter, both his prison and his weapon, symbolizes creativity under duress. The rewritten Misery novel, which Paul crafts under Annie's watch, becomes a lifeline. His survival depends on satisfying her demands. Key themes: obsession and fandom. Annie's devotion to Misery turns deadly. Captivity and survival. Paul must endure physical and psychological torment. Power and control. Annie dominates Paul, dictating his art and life. The creative process. Writing becomes both punishment and salvation. The climax arrives when Paul, desperate to escape, uses his writing to manipulate Annie. He completes the new Misery novel, but in a final confrontation, he tricks Annie with a burning manuscript. Their violent struggle ends with Annie's death, though Paul is left traumatized and scarred. The resolution shows Paul rescued and returned to society, but haunted by his ordeal. He suffers from PTSD, hallucinations, and lingering fear. Yet he also finds renewed strength in his writing, proving that creativity can endure even under unimaginable circumstances. The prose is tense, claustrophobic, and psychologically sharp, capturing both Annie's madness and Paul's desperation. Readers praise Misery for its relentless suspense, its exploration of the dark side of fandom, and its unforgettable villain. Annie Wilkes remains one of King's most iconic creations. Ultimately, the novel is about survival, the dangers of obsession, and the fragile line between admiration and control. It begins with rescue, crescendos in captivity and horror, and ends with survival shadowed by trauma.